Welcome back to the Peer Leadership and Coaching series. I'm Cindy Connell, and in this lesson, we're talking about what it really means to coach a group of peers. Here's the thing. When you've done something yourself before, it's tempting to jump in with advice. But real coaching? That's not about having the answers. It's about helping others find their own. Let's say a team is wrestling with how to break down a complex project. You've done this type of project before. You know what worked for you. Watch how easy it is to fall into advice giving despite the best intentions.
I'm trying to figure out how we should phase this. Should we start with the client interviews or do the framework first?
Start with the framework. That's what worked for my team before. Interviews come later.
Sound familiar? Jude's advice is smart, but it shuts down Nellie's thinking. There's no dialogue, no curiosity, just a directive. That's not coaching. That's consulting. From this point on, the group is likely to keep coming to Jude for the right answers rather than taking full ownership of their project. And here's the thing. When you default to giving the right answer, you might also shut the door on something better. There's rarely one perfect approach. Your teams will often come up with new creative solutions if you give them the space to think it through. Now watch what happens when Jude slows down and starts with a question instead.
I'm trying to figure out how we should phase this. Should we start with the client interviews or do the framework first?
Good question. What's your thinking so far? What would be the advantage of starting with the interviews?
Well, maybe we'd get clearer input before shaping the framework, but it also might slow us down.
What would you want progress to look like before our next check-in?
If we could start the framework but also pull in early insights from just one or two interviews, I think we'd be off to a solid start.
So it sounds like you're describing a hybrid approach? Build the framework with room to refine as interviews roll in.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was picturing. Thanks for helping us nail that down.
That's coaching in action. It's not about steering, it's about unlocking insight. Nellie didn't need direction. She needed space to reason through the way ahead. So let's define it clearly. Coaching is the practice of facilitating someone else's learning and growth. It's built on trust, curiosity, and the belief that your peers are fully capable. And how do you put it into action? You ask questions instead of offering solutions. You listen for patterns, roadblocks, and moments of hesitation. You reflect back what you're hearing and help the team move forward without doing it for them. The best coaching doesn't come from having the right answers. It comes from asking the right questions, like these example questions here. There are endless ways of asking thoughtful questions that invite your team to reason through a process on their own. They should simply be open and framed in a way where, by formulating their response, your team members naturally arrive at their own conclusions. Here's your challenge for the next time the team you're coaching comes to you asking what they should do. Before you give advice, pause and start with one thoughtful question. See how far your team can go on their own. Their solutions don't need to match what you would do. There are countless ways to approach any given problem. When it comes down to it, coaching high-performing peers isn't about showing them what you know. It's about helping them own what they know. Thank you for joining us today for this episode of the Lawyering Peace Peer Leadership and Coaching series, where we explore various topics to give you the tools to guide groups of your peers through complex projects. I'm Cindy Connell with the Public International Law and Policy Group. Until next time.